Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DSP Sports. I'm Don Stevens, and with me is David Beard. How are you doing this week, David?
Don, I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing awesome. And I put together a little ditty to commemorate the loss of the Miami Heat. Are you ready?
Yes.
What's wrong, LeBron James? You couldn't get a ring even though you switched teams. They say you fell off your throne even though you were never there. Oh, when will you realize you're not as good as Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, or Magic Johnson? And that is me singing my ode to LeBron James and his loss in the NBA Finals.
I am, I have never been so happy to root for a team other than the Lakers in my life. And I completely went against my prediction in the beginning of the year, but it was worth it.
I know. And I think it's hilarious because how many rings does LeBron James have?
I think, he's the best player ever, so he's probably have to have at least 7, right?
At least, but what do the record books say on that? How many rings does he have, David?
He's been to the finals twice, Don, and I believe he's lost both times, so I don't think he has any.
So if he's been to the finals twice and he's lost both times, he must have at least 2 rings? No, wait, 1 ring? No rings.
Oh, wait. 1 minus 1, I think, is what he has.
1 minus 1. This is amazing. And everyone says that he's so great. Maybe he's just not that great because he was on a team with 2 other really good players this season I heard a rumor that there was a little shadiness behind that deal in the Miami Heat. And he was there with these other 2 good players, and I imagine other good players on the team too because it's an NBA team. And they still managed to lose the finals, which makes me think that maybe he is nowhere near the greatest ever.
No, he's not even the greatest playing. And here's how I compare. I'm a Lakers fan, so I'm impartial, but at the height of his career, Kobe Bryant made the Lakers make a decision between Shaq and him because he wanted to be the man. At the height of LeBron's career, he decided to join a team to win a championship of good players and not do it by himself. So, to me, Kobe Bryant is even better than him right now, not even counting the rings, because Kobe wanted to do it alone. LeBron feels he can't do it alone, and that's just my opinion.
Well, that could go either way. Someone that surrounds them, someone who is great, that surrounds himself with greatness, that could be a force to be reckoned with. Look at teams, even though you don't like them, look at teams like the New England Patriots with what's his name, the guy that throws the ball for him, the quarterback. I'm having a draw here. I'm having a blank. It's not football season.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady and the rest of the people around him. And look at Magic Johnson and those that played around Magic Johnson. And then look at Larry Bird, and I mean I know there's Parrish, there was Ainge, and then there was Kevin McHale, and all these other people that were great players, and they had greatness around them, and they were able to win championships. And I think that the fact is that whether it's Kobe being the top guy and doing it alone and rising other people around him to be champions, or if it's someone like Magic and Bird, who had whole teams of awesome players around them, you've got to be great in order to make greatness happen, no matter which situation you're in.
My dream is that LeBron James goes down and passes Charles Barkley as the greatest player to never win a championship. That's my dream, Don. And
that'll probably happen. And that'll probably happen. Because I don't see this guy winning championships. Because if he is a great player, there's one thing that maybe he's not, and that's a team player.
No, he's not.
Which is interesting because he tried to build a dream team. But he's not a team player. How do you do that?
I don't know. But it doesn't matter. They lost.
If you're not a team player, you can't build a dream team. It's impossible. Unless you're playing a bunch of teams from all around the world that are crap anyways.
My question for you is, Don, this week, would you rather be a fan of the Dallas Mavericks or the Cleveland Cavaliers?
I would say I would rather be a fan of the that's tough. Because both teams have something to celebrate. If it's okay to celebrate someone's defeat, as your victory when you weren't in that actual game, just as a bitterness and revenge, well then hell yeah.
Yeah.
You know, hell yeah. And I'm all right with that, because all I have to say is this. What's wrong, LeBron James? You couldn't get a ring even though you switched teams. They say you fell off your throne even though you were never there. That's right, LeBron. You are not as great as Michael Jordan. You are not as great as Larry Bird. And you are not as great as Magic Johnson. Bud, you're not even as great as Danny Ainge. He's got a ring, you don't.
He's not as great as Nowinski.
Monica Lewinsky?
Dirk Nowinski of the Dallas Mavericks.
I was about to say Monica Lewinsky didn't get a ring, but she got something else altogether.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, back to sports. Now that the NBA is over, I'm upset because we no longer have the Miami Heat to beat up on. Wait, no, we have got all off-season to beat up on the Miami Heat, and we will have a Miami Heat beat-up session once every couple shows here, but we'll just make fun of them.
And Don, it may be a very long off-season as well, because the NBA is going to lock out the players.
Well, you know, it's working so well for the NFL, I suppose they should just go do it themselves. Well, now that we've got the lockout of the NBA coming up, and we may not have football this year, if I was wrong, and there is no football, and they don't come to an agreement, we'll have baseball to talk about all the way through to, what do they play baseball to February now?
November.
Well, whatever. Just give it time.
Yeah.
Give it time. All right, now the next thing that I want to talk about today is the NHL. There was a Stanley Cup win, and it was Boston. And I have communicated with our special New England correspondent, Wayne Stanley, and he is happy, and I am happy, and I hope all of America is happy that the Boston Bruins beat the peace-loving Canadians and their Canucks.
What?
The Boston Bruins beat the peace-loving Canadians.
Peace-loving?
The peace-loving, non-violent Canadians. Not the Canucks is the name of the team, but the Canadians themselves. It's Canada that hosts this team, this country of Canada, and they are non-violent, peace-loving people.
Am I missing something here, Don? Did you see what happened after the game?
All I know is they are peace-loving people that would never burn a city, overturn cars, or do violence unto others. It's Canada. Canada, they are 100% lovers of peace and nonviolence.
Don, could you imagine if you took your kids, say, downtown to St. Louis to a Blues game, and it was such a great time, you had fun, and you're walking out to the parking lot, someone has overturned your car and started burning it and jumping up and down on police cars? I mean, what is going on? I mean, Canada is going crazy up there. Obviously, this sport means so much to them.
Well, I don't think the sport means anything to them. I think it must just be an excuse to finally be something less than polite. I remember when I went to Canada several years ago, over 10 years ago, I went to Canada. I went up to Toronto. It was around Valentine's Day. My brother was going to meet the woman that would become his future ex-wife. And we were up there, and I was spending the time in Canada, and it was Capra-esque. The snow was falling. Everyone was polite. Man, even the bums on the street were polite. It's hard for me to believe that miles away from Toronto, over in Vancouver, in Canuckville, where they were playing hockey and got beat by the United States of America, St. Louis Bruins, and our Canadian hockey players, I find it hard to believe that kind of stuff happened up in Canada. It blew my mind. Dave, I was shocked when I saw the images.
Well, I'm not shocked. And I think that they've gone, if you look at the history of hockey, they've lost so many hockey teams and haven't won, I don't know how long, but I could be wrong. But, I mean, they're just starting to get hockey teams back. Like I was telling you, Winnipeg is getting Atlanta next year, probably. So, I mean, I'm not surprised at all. I guess they're just frustrated. And, you know, when a country south of you consistently kicks your ass over and over again, it's got to be frustrating. Yeah,
and you know what? There is nothing that I like to do more when my team loses than to trash my own crap.
Yeah, exactly.
When the Cardinals lose, when the Red Sox lose, when the Patriots lose, when the Cardinals lose, you know, when the Rams lose, when the Blues lose, when all these teams lose, the first thing I do is I come back to my house and I set something on fire of mine that is valuable, and that makes me feel better all the time.
Well, see, the difference between me and you is I don't set my stuff on fire. I set my neighbor's stuff on fire.
Oh, I've been doing it wrong. But serving less jail time. But that's all right in Canada. When you're in jail, all they make you do is smile for 8 hours straight. Then they release you.
To your free health care.
Because it's Canada.
Yes, you got it.
They're all non-violent up there.
And to all of our Canada listeners, yeah, it's true, and you know it.
Shame on you all that did this. Shame on every single one of you that did this. And your beer sucks. The only good thing Michael Moore has ever did in his entire life is a movie called Canadian Bacon. And if you haven't seen it, it's with John Candy, and it is a very funny movie. And there's hockey in it. There's hockey in it.
Agreed.
So go ahead and watch Canadian Bacon, and then ignore everything else Michael Moore's done from then on up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now that we've covered the awesome Stanley Cup victory, I watched all of Game 7, and it was just a blowout. It was just, they shut him out 4-0. It was great. I enjoyed every minute of that game, and normally I don't, but in hockey, a shutout like that in a Game 7 is just awesome. It's just awesome. And the fact that they pulled their goalie right at the end as a last, when they were on they had the penalty and did the power play thing, and it's just, and they were just desperate, and it was fun. It was fun to watch, and it has been since the 72 or 79 since the Bruins have won, and all I need to complete my sport, everyone's won a championship, is for the Blues to finally get their head out of their gutter and to win a Stanley Cup.
Preferably in St. Louis.
Preferably in St. Louis, because I don't think Canada can handle another riot like that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to NASCAR. Dave, what do you got to say about NASCAR?
Well, it's the last few weeks have been really interesting, and Dale Jr. is having a great year. He hasn't won yet, but he's consistently in the top 10, and I think I have a feeling about this week. I think this may be the week, so all Dale Jr. fans, stay tuned.
Well, I certainly hope he wins. Now, I know that there's, 8 races to go until NASCAR is back on television, and I'm looking forward to seeing the race when it comes back on regular television.
I believe it's on the internet for free.
Really, on the internet free?
Yes, you just do a search for it. Somebody told me they found it last week.
Well, that's amazing. So, in other words, instead of NASCAR wanting me to watch it on my television, where I can enjoy it in a home, I can sit around my computer and wait for half the race to buffer.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they really want my viewership. But regardless of that, I've still made my picks. But it's your turn to go first this week, Dave. So go ahead and give us your picks for this NASCAR race.
Okay, this week I'm going to start with my crash. I think Reagan Smith has a win, and he's desperate to get into the top 20 to be eligible for that wild card position. So I think he's going to run out of talent and wreck somebody. My top 10 will be Kenseth, Harvick, Stewart, Edwards, Casey Kane. I'm going to go with one of Don's favorites. Jeff Gordon. I don't want to put Denny Hamlin in here, but I just think he's got too much talent. So Denny Hamlin and Kurt Busch has just been on fire the last few weeks. Jimmy Johnson. And this week, Dale Jr. is going to win, Don.
Wow, Dale Jr. for the win. All right, well, here I go. I think my top 10 is going to be Denny Hamlin. It'll be in there. Casey Kane, Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, Kurt Busch. Wow, I never thought I would say, hey, out of the two Bushes, my favorite is Kurt, because I used to hate the guy, but his brother's such a douchebag. Dale Earnhardt Jr. will be another one of my picks. Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Carl Edwards, Trevor Bayne. The wreck will be Kyle Busch, because there's only so much douche you can fit in the car before you can't turn the steering wheel, and you run into something. And, of course, my pick for the win this year, I really want to see Jeff Gordon pull out a victory. I my heart goes to Dale Jr., but my pick goes to Jeff Gordon, and he didn't do very well.
Jeff Gordon is hot right now. He won last week, and he's won 2 this year, and I think that's a good pick, Don.
Hold on, Jeff Gordon won last week?
He did.
Well, there was no race.
Well, the race that wasn't televised.
Dave, I checked NBC, I checked Fox, CBS, and ABC, and even PBS, and there was no race. How could Jeff Gordon have won?
It wasn't on TV. It was they had it on the internet.
They had it on the internet, on the World Wide Web.
Yes,
the race was on the World Wide Web.
I will say this in defense of NASCAR for one thing is when they sign these television contracts, the big stations don't believe NASCAR pulls the audience. That's why they don't get the TV contract. So a lot of it has to do with the television stations.
Well, that's
not
nice.
wanting him
want
the big channels.
I want the television stations and NASCAR to know this: they don't have me. And there are a lot of people that don't have cable and that are giving up cable in this economic downturn. And
I agree.
They're not going to have them. But we've got our picks. I'm picking Jeff Gordon for 2 in a row. Who was your win again?
Dale Jr.
Dale Jr. And you got Dale Jr. And we've got it all set. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have our NASCAR picks. You know what we thought of the NBA Finals. You're listening to 2 part-time, temporary Dallas Mavericks fans here. At least
that's over.
At least till the start of the next season. We've got to give them props through the summer. Through the summer, we have to cheer them on for all the greatness that they did. We've got to give them some cred. And then come close to the next season, we can trash talk them too, because we certainly don't want them to win it again.
No, we need the Lakers and the Celtics in the finals next year.
That's right. Otherwise, what fun is it if we're all agreeing? And
I agree.
And people out there, do us a favor, and pray for Canada and that they stop being so violent.
Yeah, I mean, there's a problem up there. I mean, I'm really disappointed in Canada.
It's just so sad. Maybe what we ought to do is send a new ambassador to Canada. We should send Kyle Busch, and he could teach them good manners.
How about Team 6?
Oh, you mean SEAL Team 6?
Yeah.
Well, well, SEAL Team 6 has already done their deed for this year, so let's send up SEAL Team 7 or 8.
All right.
No, SEAL Team 10. SEAL Team 10.
Why don't we just send Team 1? Because they've got to be the best, right?
Well, I don't know. That's a very good question. That is a very good question. Is SEAL Team 1 better than SEAL Team 6? And does SEAL Team 6 just get all the publicity? Who knows? And if SEAL teams were sports, we would have to find out. But because they're not, we're going to end this show with this, ladies and gentlemen. What's wrong, LeBron James? You couldn't get a ring, even though you switched teams? They say you fell off your throne, even though you were never there. Oh, when will you realize you're not as good as Michael, Larry, or Magic? I'm Don Stevens, and I'll see you. Oh, yes.
One quick thing, I would like to congratulate the greatest team in the NBA history for their second place finish this year.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Oh my God! Oh, that was so touching because I could tell that was from your heart. I could tell that was from your heart. Dave, sign off. I can't.
For Don Stevens, I'm Dave Beard. We'll see you next time.